I realized that everything around me isn't a curse, it's a gift.
Mm.
And this whole time, the people I met, the things I looked at, everything I was missing the most precious of all. And it wasn't out there. It was in here the whole time. It was in there the whole time, and it was just locked up in this box. And thanks to AHAM and this awakening to awareness, the box was opened.
Yes.
And, I can sum this up into 3 letters. Wow. So thank you very much. I wish I could do it over and over and over again.
Well, you can. Thank you. So let's begin our time as usual with some meditation. Placing the body in a comfortable position if we have not already done so. And withdrawing attention inward. First, being aware of where attention is in this moment, in this instant. Just simply being aware. Being aware of all that is occurring within and without. On the inside and on the outside. And from here, from full awareness, we make note of where is attention? Where is my attention? Acknowledging it, accepting it. Wherever the flow of attention is flowing, we simply accept it. Not judge it, not judge ourselves about it. Allow this to be a time where we are in full acceptance of everything that is, just as it is. Not judging anything. Not judging anything about what's occurring without and what's occurring within. Meaning not judging anyone, including ourselves. Just fully accepting what is. That is, if we want peace. And being aware of what is being experienced right now. What am I experiencing right now? And just being aware of the experience, whatever the experience is. Body sensations, emotions, and thoughts. And again, accepting it all, letting it all be there, or letting it all be just as it is. Whatever is, is. What is not, is not. For what is not is what is. And what is what is. And so we simply accept what is in this moment. See that acceptance is freedom. Resistance in any form toward anything or anyone is suffering. If there is resistance occurring, we accept the resistance. And this acceptance allows us to move into the space that is free of suffering. What we call a clear space. By simply asking, who's experiencing this, whatever this is? Who's thinking? Who's aware of all of this? Or who's simply aware? The obvious inner response as a feeling is I am. I am. From here, we simply allow the experience to be as it is and shift attention inward onto the feeling presence, the sense I am. Your own sense of I am. Feeling I am and only I am. Relaxing into I am. Let go into the inward flow, the inward pull, the magnetic pull of I am. Of this I am presence. I am faceless, formless awareness. This is the truth of who and what we are. Fully and absolutely let go. Surrender to our true nature, I amness. If thought rises up and distracts attention, choose to not follow the thought, but simply inquire, who's thinking? Who's having this thought? Notice that that question brings attention back to I am. And simply hold attention here on this, in this I am feeling, presence, this I am sense, and let it draw attention inward prior to thinking, prior to this or that, and simply be. No matter what's coming up in the body-mind, let it come. Let it be. If there are emotions, allow the emotions to occur. For it's simply a purification, a cleansing, a letting go of what is there that maybe has been blocking the free flow, the free expression, the unencumbered expression, feeling of our joy and happiness. Be grateful that it's coming forth, if it is. And just sit here in this pure awareness, this pure I amness, as all that occurs just simply occurs. Notice how good it feels to simply sit here in this non-doing. In this silence, this inner silence. Yes, there may be experiences occurring in the body-mind, but that's okay. Just simply we sit here in the awareness that is aware of the body, that is aware of what is occurring in the mind. We don't try to do anything about all of that. We let that be as it is and rest in pure I amness. And notice that from this pure I amness, it is not affected by what's occurring in the body or in the mind or what's occurring around the body. It is complete as it is. And so now let's choose to remain here. To remain centered here. And let's also be present, alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic, and feeling good. Namaste, everyone. Many years ago, when AHAM was located in Greensboro, and actually had a Sunday morning church service, as it's called. It was called, I think, the Happiness Now Church. For some reason, it wasn't a popular name back then, the Happiness Now Church. Maybe we should have called it the Suffering Now Church.
There we go. Yeah, that works.
You think that would have been
yeah,
better?
That's a good one.
The Association of Suffering for All Men.
Ah.
Anyway, I used to I got to the point where I liked one of the songs that we used to sing. It might have been a kid's song, because we had a kids program back then as well. And it was a unity song. You know, some of us know Ramana, our founder, Ramana, was actually a unity minister, unity minister at one time. Way many years ago. And so it would go, I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. And I remember when I first heard that song, when I first started coming around AHAM, I had resistance to it. It was tough to sing that. It really was. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. You know, and I'd hear all these people, and the kids would really be going at it, boy. They really would. Jeannie and Chuck, y'all remember. They would just be fully bursting out with it. And I'm sitting there, you know, I was going through the motions, and at the same time I was thinking, you just wait, they don't know. You just wait till they get older. But by staying, you know, by continuing to come around, and even though I was feeling resistance coming up in me to it, not intentionally, it was just how I had conditioned, or the experience of life. I had allowed it to condition this body-mind. But by continuing to sing it, you know, I got to liking that song. Because there was a feeling in that song, you know. Once I really let go into it, I could come there, and many times I would come to Sunday morning program, and I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling up. But I noticed one thing every time I would come, and I had resistance to coming sometime. You know, I could feel the resistance coming up in this body-mind. At that time, to be honest, it was feeling like the resistance is coming up in me. It's coming up in not just the body-mind. It's me, because I did not know, or hadn't even considered the distinction between the body, the mind, and me. For all practical purposes, body and the mind was me. Was me. But I noticed in even singing that song continually, I began to experience a breakthrough. A breakthrough into, hey, I can feel this. This feels good. And so I'd be right there with the kids, boy. I say, hey, y'all, I can't wait till we get to this song. You know, I'm alive.
We're ready.
Yeah. Pardon me?
We're ready.
Oh, you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quit hitting, just sing, man.
All right.
Don't tease us.
Oh, don't tease you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. One more time. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic.
Cha-cha.
Very nice.
Hey, doesn't that feel good? Did you get that Barry White tone? Oh, that didn't come through. Okay. But doesn't that, I mean, just to do that, doesn't that feel better? Doesn't it feel like it's something being pushed out? That what is being pushed out is whatever has been accumulated, maybe as a sadness, a concern, the negative emotions. They can't stay there. I discovered they can't stay there when we really let go into that type of song. It's like it pushes it out. Anybody know what I mean? Even if you can't sing, I mean, I know I can sing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. When I was on the road doing programs or conducting programs at the Unity churches up and down the East Coast, I will never forget, down in Daytona, Florida, at the Unity Church there, I would walk in the mornings because I stayed there a week. As you know, we did a talk on Sunday, introduction on Sunday, and then the following Saturday, we do the all-day program. And so I'd be there all week, and I would walk into the office, the church office, every morning, because they let me use their phone. They didn't, cell phones weren't the thing back then. That tells you how old I am, doesn't it? Anyway, I'd walk in there singing, and the church secretary, Lou Ann, I'll never forget Lou Ann, she would always laugh. And finally one day I said, "Oh, Lou Ann, you don't think I can sing. That's why you're laughing." She said, "No, it's not that. It's not that at all. I am laughing and happy because you think you can sing." and I got a little baffled. I said, "Now, did she just compliment me or did she insult me?" Anyway, let's allow the lightness to come through. Just allow it to come through. So what if there's stuff going on? There is what? Y'all remember Rosanna Dana? Anybody remember her? Gilda Radner on Saturday Night Live. You know, when she would give the comic take on the news. You know, and like Walter Cronkite used to say, when he gave the news, he would say, "And that's the way it is," whatever. Well, Gilda Radner would say, "There's just always something." And she's right. She was right. There is just always something, isn't it? That's just the nature of the world. The world is just it's duality, isn't it? And with that realization for me, when I finally got that the nature of the world is duality, there is hot and there's what? Cold. There is up, down. There is negative, positive. Actually, one cannot exist without the other. Can it? Can there be any positive without negative? And at first, when I heard that, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. Why? Because I was so identified with seeking to make everything positive out there. You with me? Seeking to make everything good. Seeking meaning dependent on getting to the point where I only had positive in my life. Then I know I'll be happy. And then to find that ain't going to happen. At first that was a blast. That was a blast. And you know what? Beverly was back there. You know what I mean, don't you? But as I continued in this practice and continued going every Sunday and listening to Ramana, who sometimes didn't put it real nicely. Something began to break through with acceptance of, yeah, that is the nature of this world. But that isn't my nature. It's almost coming to the point of realizing that, okay, if I want to be happy and I want to be at peace, then I'm going to have to accept the nature of this world and come into realization that there's something prior to this world, that I can be happy, I can be at peace no matter what is occurring. And that is really the teaching of AHAM, that's the teaching of Jesus, that's the teaching of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. Isn't it? Jesus said it. That's when he said what? My kingdom is what? Not of this world. And I used to hear that when I was growing up in church a lot. But I didn't know what the hell the minister was talking about. You know, it just sounded like words. And I couldn't question him because I soon got it that, you know, even as a kid, you don't, it's not cool to ask the minister what he means. You know, because I'm going to get the proverbial, well, it's in the book. You just need to study the book. Okay, got it. But again, Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world. And he said also what? Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. Well, in those words there, to me, he was telling us clearly that happiness, continued, ongoing peace, happiness, and fulfillment is not going to be found in the world. He said it's where? Where did he say it is? Anyone.
Within.
It's within. It's within each and every one of us. It's within me. And so what did Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi bring to the table? He shared the way to locate it within. And when I was able to finally hear that at that time from Ramana, then this stuff that AHAM was talking about didn't sound so weird anymore. Because I could see the benefit of what was being given. That Ramana Maharshi had given a way to directly connect with this kingdom. No conflict with Jesus' teaching at all. As a matter of fact, it was really through, and has been through my association, and I think I speak for a number of us when I say this, it's been through my association and practicing what I've gotten from AHAM that I've come to really fully appreciate and understand the stuff that I did learn from the Bible or had read in the Bible and what the preachers were saying. I came into a deep appreciation and love for Jesus. You know, knowing that, hey, this stuff it started becoming clear. Not intellectually necessarily. I've discovered that doesn't happen necessarily in the beginning, but experientially. I could feel it. Am I talking foreign, or is there anyone understanding what I mean? I could feel it. I could feel it. And it was from the feeling of it, getting in touch with the experience of it, that it began to make sense from an intellectual standpoint. But I was no longer dependent on understanding it intellectually in order to receive it. Because do we understand that the conditioning of the mind, the ego, does not want us to understand how to get free of the ego? Do you think that the ego is going to want us to understand and get how to be free of it? No, it ain't going to do that. It ain't going to do that. So do we fight with it? No. No. Do we try to change it? No. No, not at all. We accept it. And that was one of the major things that I have gotten. If I had have gotten nothing else in my life from AHAM or from any teaching, but that one thing of the benefit of acceptance, then I would say I have gotten the jewel. I have gotten the most precious jewel, the most beneficial thing that I could have ever gotten in my life was acceptance. Acceptance. Acceptance of what? Acceptance of everything that's occurring, when it's occurring, as it's occurring. And I used to have a concept about that too. I thought a concept which brought up, and maybe some of us experience it sometimes too, that acceptance means that I have to put up with it. Or acceptance means that, well, I just got to live with this for the rest of my life and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to try to change it. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It simply means that I first must let it be just as it is. And from letting it be just as it is, there's a sense of freedom experienced. And from there, ways and means by which maybe it can be improved will reveal themselves. But if I'm stuck in resisting it, it's just going to hurt more and more and more. Anybody know what I mean? By the way, this isn't necessarily the flow that I had prepared for this morning. As I shared with Linda Swanson, who is the facilitator, trainer for this weekend's Awaken to Awareness, I was sharing with her yesterday I needed to get prepared for today's talk. Well, so I can look at it from this standpoint. Well, man, I stayed up that amount of time getting prepared for today's interlude, and here it is, nothing I prepared is being said. And even that's not a waste. Maybe all of that needed to have gotten out of the way. So, to me, what I'm seeing with that is really nothing has to be a waste or is a waste in our lives, no matter what we've done. Some people, yours included, get involved in our teaching, in our practice, and etc., and come to see they may have been involved in something else prior to, and say, well, God, I should have come here. I've wasted time. No. What I did then, what I did yesterday, got me to where? Here. So why fret over it? Why be unhappy about it? As Willie Nelson would say, we're not in control anyway. I'm not in control. You think you're in control? So that's what's going on with me and what I have to share right now. But how does it feel right now in this moment to just let go? Meaning relax, surrender. Surrender to what? Surrender to just I am. Surrender all sadness, all unhappiness, all concern, all regret, all anger, to I am. Surrendering it to what? To God. Which, as Jesus says, is within. I'm not really well versed on the Bible. I don't think I'm well versed really on much of anything. But the beauty of this AHAM and what we're about, the practice of inquiry, and all the processes and practices we share. The primary one, of course, is inquiry. Fortunately, you don't have to know anything or much about anything. It's about being. Just pure being. That, I found, is really the location of peace and happiness. What about you? What are you finding? What are you discovering? One of the daily messages from this past week that was sent out, and I hope everyone on this call receives the daily messages that are sent out 5 days a week. It's one in which a questioner is asking Ramana Maharshi or making a statement that it seems that meditation to him or her and worldly activities are different. In other words, they seem to conflict. That's when he was making a statement that when in meditation or when he's meditating, whatever practice he's using, and when he goes into his worldly activities, his or her worldly activities, that there is no meditation. That there's a seeming problem. And Maharshi says that they are basically he said that there is no difference. And what creates the difference really is what I get from that. What am I getting from that? And I'm not here, I don't claim authority to explain what Ramana Maharshi meant, but I can share what I get from it. Is that there wouldn't be any difference if I didn't think that there was a difference. If I wasn't entertaining or holding the thought that being involved in worldly activities prevent meditation or being in meditation. And also what I'm seeing and getting that he's saying is that since meditation is our natural state, is who we are, pure I am, which is the natural state of meditation, if we want to call it that. If we're resting here, if we're centered in this pure I am, then involvement in worldly activities won't affect that. It does not affect that. They will go on, and there is no difference. Are you understanding what I'm saying? If you're not, say you're not. It's my job to communicate in a way that it's clear. It's not yours. And it's actually, to go on further with that, I was saying, and thank you, Stuart Edmondson, for bringing that question up in an email. I was further being with it, it's the very sense of I, ego, that makes it appear that being in meditation, the experience of meditation, and the experience that occurs when involved in worldly activities are in conflict, that they're different. It's just an appearance that we've identified with. When we identify with, when I think I'm this sense of I, this ego. And that is really the purpose of real meditation, isn't it? The purpose of inquiry. The purpose that AHAM serves is to support and assist us in getting free, assist me in getting free of this ego, this sense of separateness, this sense that I am separate and apart from God, or separate and apart from you, and different, etc., etc. But to bring us into the underlying essence that we are. In this underlying essence, we're centered here, then there is no difference. And I'm talking about this as an experience, not just about knowing about this, because knowing about it and experiencing it are two different things, isn't it? One's a philosophy and one's an experience. And which would we rather have? I know what I'd rather have. Which would we rather have, the experience or the philosophy about it? The experience, right? Isn't that what really makes a difference? For some reason, it's coming up too back in Greensboro days. I remember Ramana he would ask questions sometimes. I think they were trick questions.
No.
He would ask, he asked me, he said, Stan, I want you to share with me your philosophy of happiness, man. And I was ready. And I looked good. I was sharing it, and afterwards he just clapped his hand. And he said, oh, that's wonderful. And I knew I was in trouble when he said that. He said, that's wonderful. He said, now let me ask you something. What would you rather have, Stan? The philosophy of happiness or the experience? I had never thought of that. And then he went on to say, because philosophy and 52 cents will buy you a cup of coffee. That's about all it will. That just completely deflated philosophy in that moment. And you know what? I thank God, because it needed to be deflated. Because I was walking around with a belief about happiness, and the belief about happiness and peace was actually preventing me from experiencing happiness and peace. A belief about it, I was thinking about how it's supposed to be. And as long as I have something in the space about how it's supposed to be, how a thing is supposed to be, then it really prevents me, or prevents us from really experiencing what it actually is. Because during that time too, I must say that I wasn't too keen on the association of happiness for all mankind as a name. Meet people and stuff, and well, what is that place you were associated with? So you're happiness for all mankind. And I got it. I finally got it. That just my reluctance to even saying that, not necessarily with any pride, but just saying it as a matter of fact, that was my block to experiencing happiness. How can I have happiness and peace if I'm embarrassed to even say it? Or that I belong to an organization, or not belong, but participate in an organization that's named the Association of Happiness for All Mankind. What's wrong with that? Well, I might say, well, what's wrong with it? People won't, people look at me funny. People feel, I can tell that, they think I'm a little nuts or something just by being involved in something like that. And you know what that is? I began to see. That is appearing that way because I am the one who's feeling that. And also, if someone has a problem with it, you know why they have a problem with it? I'm not saying this in judgment. But why do you think that they would have a problem with that name?
Because you have a problem with it.
Because I have a problem with it, yes, but also from their perspective, why? Maybe. Huh? They're not happy.
They're afraid to be happy.
Maybe. Or they have some reluctance. I'm not saying that with judgment. I really don't mean it that way. I really don't mean it that way. But I also realize that if we are okay with it, guess what? And we continue to be okay with it and say it, you know what it'll do? It will support them in getting free of it. Free of their blocks. That is an uplift. That becomes an uplift to our brothers and sisters. Otherwise, what are we doing? Are we indulging others in their unhappiness and lack of peace? Why not support? Why not offer the support rather than indulging? By being it ourselves. By being it ourselves. Accepting ourselves fully, and thus we can do what? We can accept everybody else where they are. This is not the association of unacceptance. This is the association of acceptance of everyone, everywhere, just as they are, no matter what they're involved in. And doesn't that feel much better than not accepting? How does it feel right now just to accept everything and everyone just as they are, just as it is? No resistance to anything, anyone. Does that feel freer than feeling contracted or feeling against? Which one feels better? Would you say acceptance? Because acceptance is what? It's love. Love. And I found that when I'm accepting myself just as I am, that's when I'm loving myself. I also apologize. I have taken up all the time just about. Pardon me for doing that.
We accept.
Steve in the back, for those of us on the phone, Steve in the back just said, we accept you. Thank you, Steve. So we have a few more minutes. So is there anything coming up that you would like to share? Anyone on the call? Anyone here in the room? We'd love to hear from those here participating in the Awaken to Awareness retreat, if you'd like to share something. If you don't, that's okay too. If you want to come up here and teach me the proper way to sing the song, I'd be happy to receive that. But is anything coming up for anyone on the phone, here in the room or on the call? Press *6 to unmute.
Dan,
Yes.
Jules?
This is Jewel.
Hi, Jewel.
Something came up with, hi. Something came up with me last night. It just went through my mind that I hadn't thought of in years. Something that happened many years ago in India. And what's so humorous is your talk today has just wiped it right out. It was just exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Jewel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gwen?
Yes, Gwen?
This is Terry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Tammy. Hi, Tammy. We're all the same, Tammy.
Hi. Yes, I want to thank you too for everything today, and it just feels much better to be in I am than in the stuff.
Yes. 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 Thank you. And here in the room we have Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi. And is my time of silence over?
You can't share it like
We can roll now. I just completed the weekend for the Awakening to Awareness, and it's nothing what I expected. It was so much more than I expected, overwhelmingly. I came in here with tears of despair and just depression and just not even wanting the next beat of my heart, because nothing looked right. I didn't see how it was going to get right, and everything was external, and that was the whole cause of my unhappiness, was what was going on around me. And after this weekend, I can't wait for the next beat of my heart, because I realize that everything around me isn't a curse, it's a gift. And this whole time, the people I met, the things I looked at, everything, I was missing the most precious of all. And it wasn't out there. It was in here the whole time. It was in there the whole time, and it was just locked up in this box. And thanks to AHAM and this awakening to awareness, the box was opened.
Yes.
And, I can sum this up into 3 letters. Wow. So thank you very much. I wish I could do it over and over and over again.
Well, you can. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
You staying?
Yes. We're out of time, but we'll take one more. Go ahead, Jimmy.
This is Jimmy. I'll make it quick. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for introducing me to AHAM 30 years ago in July 1984. You invited me to what you said was a different kind of church. And I knew that if you were inviting me to church, then I needed to go.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. And thank yourself, Jimmy, for you were open enough to hear it. Let's all be grateful to ourselves for having the wisdom and openness to receive what is shared here. Here meaning whether you're here physically at the AHAM centers or you're here on the phone. There has to be some openness and wisdom to even be here, to even be on this call. And with that, remain alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. And namaste.